Russell T Davies is coming back, right? And who's going to be his doctor? I think he should be Billie Piper, actually.
Yes! Yes!
Well, it certainly looks like Christopher Eccleston at least got one of his wishes granted.
I'd like to see you all struggle with it. How can she be the doctor when she was an assistant? I like the idea of it blowing fuses in the cannon.
Yep, that's right. You have read the video correctly. What you witnessed yesterday was not in fact some sort of bizarre dream. Billie Piper is currently the Doctor. Billie Piper is the 16th incarnation of the Doctor, or is she? Okay, because there's something very interesting happening here, which we're going to unpack. We've got theories, we've got quotes from Russell T Davies and Billie Piper herself, because I think there is more than initially meets the eye to this scenario. At the end of the reality war, Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor sacrifices himself to save baby Poppy. In doing so, he fires some sort of Super Saiyan powers into the TARDIS, everything goes mad, he starts to regenerate while looking up at Joy the Star, yeah, Doctor Who's a weird show, and then he transforms into Billie Piper, who looks directly down the barrel of the camera and says, "Oh, hello." And then we cut to credits, but what do we notice in the credits? Every time there's a new Doctor, the first credit on screen is "and introducing X actor as the Doctor." Except Billie Piper didn't get that. What she got was "and introducing Billie Piper." Now, I don't think this is a coincidence, okay? Nowhere official has she actually been stated as playing the 16th Doctor. And as I say, we'll read them in a little bit, but there's a comment from herself and from Russell T Davies which imply she might not actually be the 16th Doctor and that there's more going on in this whole saga. Now, I for one will just give you my brief personal opinion on this, because it's caused a lot of controversy in the fandom. I've seen some people incredibly happy. It's usually the 2005 revival fans that are quite happy with this, the David Tennant fans, and I've also seen a lot of people quite mad, quite angry. My personal take, Billie Piper is a fantastic actress. Obviously, she's been in a load of shows. She's in a Bad Wolf show as well. She knows this. I mean, the company is named after her. Really. She plays Bad Wolf in Doctor Who. You've got the Bad Wolf. I saw her in a recording of a play called Yerma, and she is so good in that. Like, it's not exactly a Doctor-type character, but the raw emotion that she's able to convey, she's just fantastic. And obviously back in 2005, 2006, and 2008, and technically a tiny bit of 2010, she brilliantly performed Rose Tyler. Like, if you were going to bring back any companion to play the Doctor, you'd pick Billie Piper or Jenna Coleman. So Billie Piper isn't a bad shout, but I do understand, like, I'm hyped, I'm excited, but I do understand people's concern that is this relying too much on 2005's era of the show? Does Doctor Who need to leave its past and push forward with a new face? And a lot of people have been concerned about how casual fans feel, but like, my family watched it and loved it. They really enjoyed it, and they were like, "Oh, well, I don't see any problem with Billie Piper being the next Doctor. I'm intrigued to see where that storyline goes." So I think it is actually a clever move on behalf of Russell. Like, this is brilliant stunt casting. It will 100% bring in a massive audience. Now, what they've got to do is not fumble the bag. When this massive audience come in to watch episode 1 of Billie Piper as the Doctor, please, no more space babies, no more bogeymen, and I like it, I found it fun. No more singing goblins though. You've got to lure the general public in and then do the bizarre experimental stuff, which I think is probably the approach they're going for. But also, to all the detractors out there, I see where you're coming from, but you've also got to bear in mind, this wasn't the original plan. This is a backup plan, because we know, which I find bizarre that they haven't admitted to in Unleashed or anywhere, but we know for a fact that they did major reshoots on the reality war in February of this year, which I'm going to assume is all the unit ending scene, the Jodie Whittaker scene, the regeneration scene, and Billie's introduction. The fact that Billie Piper's introduction isn't even mentioned in Unleashed once implies to me this was a very last-minute addition, and Russell was determined to have the Doctor regenerate into somebody at the end of that episode. If you've watched Doctor Who Unleashed, the behind-the-scenes show, you'll know that they did, the last scene Ncuti ever filmed was that big one with Unit and everybody in the control ops room. So yeah, I think that there were definitely rewrites, and Ncuti, just look at the articles that we were getting. Like Ncuti said last year, on the Graham Norton show, and I think about October, November time, he was like, we're going to be filming season 3 next year. This wasn't always the plan. Something's happened, something's changed, Ncuti has decided to leave the programme, and I can't lie, obviously no ill will to Ncuti, fair play, but it puts people in a difficult situation. Do you know what I mean? How do Bad Wolf and Russell keep the show going? How do they guarantee a recommission? Well, doing a casting like this works. If it was pure stunt casting, I'd be more annoyed, but Billie Piper is a fantastic actress. You've got to remember that. She's not going to be playing Rose specifically, or will she? We'll come to that. But yeah, she's a good actress. Let's unpack it more. In this article from TV Zone, they have both a quote from Russell T Davies, current showrunner, and Billie Piper, the current Doctor, which is, I still can't quite believe I'm saying this, it's mad. Speaking on the surprise twist, Russell T Davies adds, Billie once changed the whole of television back in 2005. And now, she's done it again. I mean, it is quite poetic, isn't it? That you start with Billie in 2005, first face the show sees, and here, the latest episode the show sees ends with her face. It's a bookend to that era of Doctor Who. And now she's done it again. It's an honour and a hoot to welcome her back to the TARDIS, but quite how and why and who is a story yet to be told. After 62 years, the Doctor's adventures are only just beginning. Notice how he says what, why, and who. Nowhere have they said the Doctor. They said welcomed back to the TARDIS. Is there more at play here? Well, Billie Piper actually says, it's no secret how much I love this show, and I have always said I would love to return to the Whoniverse, as I have some of my best memories there. So, to be given that opportunity to step back on that TARDIS one more time was just something I couldn't refuse. But who, how, and why, and when? You'll just have to wait and see. I mean, the when question immediately jumps out there, as that's terrifying. Are we going to have another hiatus? How long are we going to be waiting for these answers? But yeah, they're both being very mysterious about this. They're not giving us a straight answer as to who Billie Piper's even playing. The fact that the credits don't even name her as the Doctor, what's going on here? Obviously, they could just be doing this to drum up publicity. Maybe she just, it is as simple as she is the 16th Doctor, done. But I think there's probably more at play here. Let's unpack the best theories that I currently have on why on earth and who on earth Billie Piper is playing in Doctor Who. My first theory here is I think this has got to tie in with the whole Bad Wolf thing. If you remember back to Parting of the Ways from 2005, to save the Doctor and stop the Daleks, Rose looks into the heart of the TARDIS and effectively becomes a god. She opens up the heart of the TARDIS and the TARDIS pours into her, she gets all these powers, she saves the day, then she passes that energy back to the Doctor, who puts it in the TARDIS. Now notice as well, in her regeneration scene, there is a shot of the TARDIS, of the console, glowing orange, which you never normally get. They cut away from the action of the Doctor to the interior of the TARDIS. Is that because whatever happened back in 2005 with the Parting of the Ways, when that face of Rose looked into the TARDIS, maybe today, the Doctor used that sort of energy, he blasts his regeneration energy to bring back Poppy, possibly stirring the heart of the TARDIS. Maybe the TARDIS shot that face back out at the Doctor. Rose was the last person to open, look in, and use its powers in that sense. I know the 13th Doctor briefly used it in Flux, but she didn't take it into her mind and soul. So maybe that face has sort of been projected back. Do you see what I mean? That's why the Doctor has this face. As I say, she technically became a god, and this era of Doctor Who is all about gods, about a pantheon, so who's to say that, yeah, this face ties in with the gods? Maybe that's a stretch. I mean, if we look back at reoccurring faces in Doctor Who, Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor has a whole arc of, why did I get this face? I've seen this face before. And it's established that he got it to remind himself of something. He got it to hold himself to the mark. Perhaps the Doctor is trying to remind himself of something by showing themselves Rose's face. Perhaps because she's not been named as the Doctor, that whole bad wolf idea of the heart of the TARDIS, have they, like, actually split into the Doctor and Rose? Like, they were talking about all of realities merging and crumbling and crushing. Rose is in a parallel universe because she had links with looking into the TARDIS. Have they accidentally, like, bi-generated into one person? So you get the Billie Piper Rose character and the Doctor merged into one, and it's gonna sort of be like a weird, she's Rose but the Doctor, and they need to fix that, they need to separate the two of them, something along those lines perhaps. I mean, coming back to the 12th Doctor's sort of theories of why this face, is it literally self-love? I mean, Ncuti's Doctor establishes at the end of the episode that he's the Doctor that says I love you. He's put all that trauma aside. So it's a very literal way of reminding himself to love himself. I don't think that's going to be the case because that's got a couple of weird implications there. I mean, yeah, the Doctor has, like, kissed his own face, her own face. Weird. There could also just be the question of, is it actually just Rose? Has something happened to the Doctor? Because the Doctor technically seems to fade away during that regeneration, and then Rose crops up. Has the Doctor, like, been sent somewhere and Rose put in his place? Is there, like, a time slip or something happening? Maybe tied to the TARDIS? Could we see, rather than them sort of bi-generating into one, it is just a simple bi-generation? The regeneration effect hadn't finished by the time the episode finished. It was still sort of glowing all around, mainly because they were just literally, if you go back and watch it, pasting Billie Piper's head onto Ncuti Gatwa's body, which is kind of hilarious. But you could perhaps start the next episode on a cliffhanger where we're seeing that regeneration, she steps back into the TARDIS still glowing, and bam! There's two Doctors. One who's somewhat Rose, and one who's just the Doctor. You could have an adventure like that. I mean, I've seen people suggesting, are they going to bring back David Tennant? Are they going to bring back David Tennant? I think it's unlikely. It's not impossible, though, because who thought Billie Piper would be the 16th Doctor? And I get why you'd want a reunion, but then it does dip into what I was saying earlier about the show not moving forward. It's not 2005 anymore. Doctor Who has to survive on its own. Now, a theory for the classic fans out there, could this be some form of watcher or some form of curator? Like the curator says in Day of the Doctor, he's like, you'll revisit a few of the old favourite faces, eh? He never specified Doctor faces. Why not companion faces? Is this the beginning of the creator, some sort of bi-generation here? Do you know what I mean? Is it the watcher? Like from classic Who, before a big regeneration? Is Billie Piper perhaps, because they say what, when, why, who, where, is she only going to get maybe 3 specials like David Tennant did to tide over the next Doctor? Or maybe Ncuti isn't done, right? We're being led to believe he's done, we'll have 3 specials to bridge the gap, and Ncuti's Doctor will come back. That's probably not going to happen though. But let me know your best theories on this in the comments down below, because it's certainly bizarre, it's completely unexpected, and I'm kinda here for it, I can't lie. I get your concerns, but Billie Piper is a fantastic actress. This wasn't the original plan, and I think that's what we need to bear in mind going forward. Don't send hate to Billie or to Russell, they're both just trying to do their job, and I think they're doing it well. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you did enjoy. Please do remember to like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Patreon or become a channel member if you want, entirely up to you. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Confused Adipose YouTube channel.
I will destroy you!
She's not seen a single episode.
No, I've watched your episodes.
Keep these sonic screwdrivers.
What else am I saying about the film? Don't watch this one.